37 Hercules aircraft, a 46 Group Royal Air Force Strike Command, flying in wings of 12 with 1/3 of a mile between them. That's 10 miles of aircraft in the biggest paratrooping exercise held in the United Kingdom for years. And in them, just a part of a highly trained parachute force on call in this country to be deployed to any trouble spot within the NATO alliance. These land and air elements combine to form what is called United Kingdom Joint Airborne Task Force, UK JATF.
To find out more about UK JATF, I asked its commander to join me here at RAF Lynham. Tell me, sir, what exactly does UK JATF comprise, and why was it founded?
It comprises a small planning headquarters and 2 battalion groups of 16 parachute brigade, and enough Hercules C-130 aircraft of the Royal Air Force to put this force down in 2 successive waves. As regards the second part of your question, JATF is part of the reinforcement forces which this country has allocated to NATO.
How does it differ from other UK forces earmarked for assignment to NATO?
It differs, I think, in perhaps the characteristics of the airborne assault role, which I believe and should imagine are attractive to any NATO commander, and these are threefold. First one is the speed of reaction, which of course gives you surprise. We believe that once the airlift has been allocated to this operation, we can get a battalion group, plus its equipment, into the air and on its way in under 72 hours. Now, given even a reasonable amount of warning, we believe we can cut this reaction time down to below 24 hours. So that's first and a very important characteristic. Second, I believe, is the flexibility of the force. This force, I think, can be mounted from this country to almost any part of the NATO front. Now, this means that the NATO commander can stand back for a moment and assess where the enemy threat is coming before actually asking for this force to be put in to a particular area. And lastly, but also important, the other reinforcement forces of the country, with 1 or 2 exceptions, are inclined to depend on a fairly complicated airfield and port facilities to get to their area of operations. Not so JATF, who can, of course, from these aircraft, drop into their area of operations directly.
Yes, I see your point, sir. But how can such a force be delivered in a NATO environment?
Well, I would be the first to admit that the air environment in and around NATO is getting more difficult as the days go by. And we've had to evolve certain operating techniques in order to maintain tactical surprise and to save interception by enemy air forces. And we've also developed a new range of airborne equipment, which in the next few years or so will greatly improve our capability. But now look, I think the time has come for you to go down to Aldershot to 16 Parachute Brigade and see the Deputy Commander JATF and get him to take you through the teeth of the parachute force.
Right, left, right, left! Down! Three! Go! Go! Pull up the centre strand. Stand by. Name. Begin. Next one, hook up. Come on, race across there. Ready for the middle plane. Come on. Really get it going. Come on, race it. Leap out. Pull on the side there. Hold it back steady in the middle. Next one, get ready. Go. Back. Come on.
Here I spoke to the Brigadier, 16 Parachute Brigade, who is Deputy Commander of UK JATF.
Yes, but remember, it's an entirely new concept of airborne operations. It envisages 2 battalion groups plus a headquarters being delivered into, say, Allied territory or a piece of country that has recently been overrun by the enemy. The sort of task they're going to have to do is to secure a point of entry, say a port or an airhead, or to regain a piece of vital ground, or to block enemy penetration. It really is a weapon of opportunity to be used as the situation permits.
You mentioned 2 battalion groups. Now, what does that consist of?
It's about 1,800 men, their vehicles, weapons and equipment. But it's a flexible force, and you do the mix according to the task you've been given. It's self-contained for a period of up to 72 hours, and with aerial resupply, it can operate for considerably longer.
Surely this requires a specialized range of weapons and support.
As I said before, you'll have to drop any preconceived ideas you have about airborne operations. And the simplest thing, I think, is for you to come and see with me just what a parachute battalion group does comprise.
What is a paratroop force's capability?
Well, first of all, it's a very flexible force.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, in the past, we've been vulnerable to enemy armor. Now we've got a whole arsenal of anti-tank weapons. And with our speed of reaction, we really are a potent fighting force. But I'll take you and show you one of my battalions, and you can see what it's all about.
Fine.
Bill, this is Colonel Geoffrey Howlett, who commands the battalion group. How do you do,
How do you
Bill?
do, sir?
Now, I'll leave you with him. But remember this. This is only one battalion group and only part of the parachute force. Goodbye.
Thanks very much for your help. All these men and their equipment to be airdropped.
Yes.
Just how much is there?
Well, the exact composition of this force depends on the particular task you've got in hand. It's like a bag of golf clubs. You can choose the clubs to suit the particular course. I think the best way of illustrating this is to show you the particular grouping that we've got here today. Now let us start with the main artillery weapon. This is in fact the 105mm gun, and here you see the 4 guns that make up the parachute battery.
How far will this gun shoot?
10,000 meters.
And what do you have next?
Well, it's the guns then that provide our only relatively long-range close support. Next we have the 81mm mortar.
Ah, yes, more.
We have a platoon of these, and this very accurate weapon can fire to a range of about 5,500 meters. But not only does it fire high explosive bombs, it can fire smoke and illuminating rounds as well. In addition to the fire support that we actually have with us on the ground, we can call on the Royal Air Force to assist as well. And in the brigade group, we have a Royal Air Force pilot, the Brigade Air Support Officer, and a forward air controller to help.
How do they fit in?
Well, the Brigade Air Support Officer processes all the air requests as they come in on his radio. And then the forward air controller actually directs the aircraft onto the target when they appear overhead.
Orbiting gate at 1,500 feet with retard bombs and sped 15 minutes on target.
Bassoon, roger. Go to IP Alpha and call Fortune 2 on channel 3 for attack briefing.
Turn left now. Turn left. Hard left. Keep turning. Straighten. Straighten now. Light on the 12 o'clock half a mile.
But surely, to any parachute force, the tank must be about its greatest danger. Now, the Brigadier tells me that you have very strong anti-tank resources.
Yes, that's correct. And very flexible they are in range, too. Now, firstly, we've got swing fire. This is a wire-guided missile mounted on the ferrets of the guided missile troop. Now, these weapons can be controlled by an operator some distance away from the launch vehicle, and they have a range of 4,000 meters. Swing fire can be fired from a vehicle, or indeed from the ground.
And how many of these do you have?
Well, each battalion group would have 4 ferrets, all fitted with swing fire, and this should provide enough ammunition for about 72 hours. And don't forget that in addition, the 105mm gun that you saw earlier has an anti-tank capability.
And these, what about these?
These are Vigilant. We have 6 detachments of the Vigilant platoon forming guided missile detachments. And each detachment will have 6 missiles with it. Now, Vigilant provides us with our anti-tank defense between 375 meters and 1,375 meters. And now we come to Wombat. Wombat is a 120mm recoilless gun with a range of approximately 1,000 meters. And it's manned by men of my own anti-tank platoon. Next we come to the Carl Gustav. This is carried by the 9 infantry platoons in the battalion and has a range of about 500 meters. It also has the capability of firing an illuminating round to about 2,000 meters.
Very useful. Easy to carry, too.
Yes, but that's not as portable as the last of the weapons in our anti-tank field. This is the 66mm anti-tank recoilless weapon, and this is carried by every section in the battalion, and very accurate it is too. Now, it has its origins in the American familiar M72. Well, that completes the anti-tank defense. As you can see, a strong capability from short to long range.
Fine. But what about the ordinary soldier?
Well, you're quite right. That's the mainstay of the whole force. And we have 3 rifle companies, of which you see 1 here. And the ordinary soldier armed with the self-loading rifle and the Sterling submachine gun. The company's main armament is the general-purpose machine gun, which in its sustained role has a maximum range of 1,800 meters. Now, its dial sight enables it to engage even obscure targets in the dark.
This looks like more or less the same gun, is it?
Yes, it's the light version of the general-purpose machine gun with a range of about 600 meters. Now, that, together with the personal weapons I mentioned earlier, completes the firepower available to the battalion group.
Yes, but apart from these weapons, what means do you have for reconnaissance and that sort of thing?
Yes, that's most important. I'll take you over to see the patrol company now. Now, each battalion has a patrol company, each about 50 strong. Now, this company divides up into small patrols, which are available for surveillance, for setting up observation posts, or indeed for any form of general medium-range patrolling. Now, to help them with that task, they may often use specialist equipment, radar, demolition equipment, observation devices, and even sometimes perhaps a helicopter from our own squadron. Some other uses for our helicopters might be for command, for reconnaissance, for air observation for our artillery, or indeed for casualty evacuation. There is one element of the battalion group we must not forget, and that's our engineers. Their role, amongst others, are mine laying and lifting demolitions, the construction of field defenses, and helicopter landing sites. Should it be necessary to mark the dropping zone, then a platoon of pathfinders would be attached to the battalion group for this purpose.
Wind's coming from 30 degrees at 5 knots.
A force like this must need an awful lot of administrative backing. What about equipment damaged in the drop? Casualties, additional supplies, that sort of thing?
Yes, you're quite right. Now, all these essentials will be looked after by elements of the parachute logistic regiment, with the exception of human casualties, and these will be dealt with by the parachute field ambulance. If they fail, we've got the padre to pick up the bits.
All denominations?
There's another one coming, sir.
Right, sir.
Well done, lads. Get him up there. That's the way.
Now, what happened to you?
Flying glasses.
Where were you hit? Just in the neck?
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling?
Very weak, sir.
Now seen what a complete and typical battalion group looks like. It can, of course, be varied to suit any particular task.
Yes, I have indeed. But getting all these men and their equipment to the dropping zone. Now, tell me about that.
Now, that's the other half of the act, and you'll have to go down to RAF Lynham to speak to the airlift commander about that. Now, it happens that he's also the station commander.
Is geared up to this concept, and I think probably that's what it's all about.
Yes, but tell me, sir, what is so special about transporting troops to a DZ and dropping them?
In the old way, nothing. But we have to take into account the possible air environment in NATO and the modern methods of interception and detection. Now, to combat this and to ensure a safe delivery, we have developed this system. First of all, we fly in at low level, and this has the effect of overcoming the enemy radar defenses. Secondly, the route that we use is pre-planned, and it's planned to avoid ground-to-air missiles and also to make the fullest use of the terrain over which we're flying to provide cover. Thirdly, we also make use of darkness and bad weather to achieve a surprise attack. And finally, we concentrate the entire stream to deliver a full parachute battalion group on the ground within 10 minutes of the first aircraft arriving on the dropping zone.
10 minutes? But how is that possible?
Well, I think the easiest way to explain is to look at this animation. The aircraft form up into a stream flying at low level, about 250 feet above ground level, at up to 240 knots. This stream of 37 aircraft is made up of sections of 3 aircraft flying at 2,000 feet horizontal spacing, with 2 successive sections forming a wave. Each wave leader is separated by a 2-minute interval for the en route configuration, and this provides both flexibility and stability throughout the stream. Some 10 minutes in advance of the main stream, whilst it is en route, will be the stream commander's aircraft, and this in fact is not shown here. At an agreed point, about 15 miles from the dropping zone impact point, the leading section reduces speed to 140 knots, with each following section reducing to the same speed at the same point. At a predetermined geographical feature, some 2 to 5 miles from the impact point, a pop-up point is selected. As each aircraft reaches the pop-up point, it reduces speed further to its dropping speed, which is 125 knots, and climbs or pops up to its dropping height. These speed reductions cause the formation to close up and result in maximum concentration over the dropping zone.
Yes, I understand that. But if all this is to be put into operation, how does it start?
Well, I think you'd better ask the commander about that.
Oh, fine. Tell me, sir, what is the sequence of events?
Well, the first thing that will happen is that the Supreme Allied Commander of Europe will make a request to the Ministry of Defense in London for allocation of the force. Once this permission is forthcoming, then planning can start for the airlift. Maud authorized the allocation of the airlift. The force is then assembled and prepared for the operation. I, together with my staff and communications support, form a small JATF headquarters and deploy to the headquarters of the principal subordinate command, in whose area the operation is to take place. On arrival, we co-locate with the NATO headquarters. There, my prime responsibilities will be, first of all, to assume command of the force and become responsible to the principal subordinate command for its employment. Then to plan and execute operations in conjunction with the NATO headquarters. And at the same time, ensuring coordination of any supporting air forces. I will need also to plan and coordinate the logistic air resupply and make sure that we establish secure rear link communications with the mounting base in the United Kingdom. Now, here at RAF Lynham, the detailed information passed back from the headquarters JATF is disseminated to the land and air commanders for the briefing of their respective units and deciding the composition of the force.
Supporting the aircrew at the time of the day of the assault. I think that...
Now that the operation is underway, 37 Hercules aircraft are assembled at Lynham to be fitted either for parachutists or for equipment. Simultaneously, briefings are held by the airlift commander at RAF Lynham
within the next 72 hours. The requirement is for 16 aircraft to be rolled in the full paratrooping roll to uplift approximately 950 paratroops. Also, there will be 17 aircraft in the medium stress platform roll to uplift 34 medium stress platforms, and a further 4 aircraft in the supply stress platform roll for 16 SSPs for resupply.
And at headquarters 16 Parachute Brigade at Aldershot.
Now, if that containment fails, Comland Zealand will withdraw to a defensive posture behind the obstacle belt. I'll now hand you over to the Brigadier for orders.
16 Power Brigade's mission is to destroy any enemy attempting to penetrate the barrier defensive position. Now, in essence, Comland Zealand's plan is to deploy 3 motorised brigade on the right, 2 Met Brigade on the left, with 16 Power Brigade in the centre.
Whilst these early briefings are being held to finalise the key details of the operation, such as take-off times, battle tactics, PRs, etc., there's a lot of skillful and speedy preparation to get underway. Vehicles carrying parachutes have already left for line-up, and others for rigging come here to the heavy drop company at RAF Halavington.
Timings, ALMs and engineers to aircraft 1430, crews to aircraft 1630, radio check 1640, start number 3 at 1645, and then at 2-minute intervals, taxi 1653, and brakes off approximately 1710. PR, as I've mentioned already, is 2000.
Strato Q, base 3500 feet. Captain Loadmaster, 20 minutes to go. Prepare for action.
Roger, Captain. Prepare for action. 20 minutes to the DZ. Prepare for action. 20 minutes to the DZ. Prepare for action.
All sticks, stand up. Fit equipment.
Captain Engineer, redropping checks side door.
Roger. Pre-dropping check. Altimeters.
Captain, set DZ QNH. We've got 750 feet.
Okay, pilot checks. And navigator checks.
All stick, check equipment.
Be 5 miles to go. And 200 yards left. Roger.
Here's at elevation 550, drop height, Captain, 1750 feet, 1750 check. And your carb is 500 early, 150 right. Roger, Co, you're clear to open the door now.
Roger, Captain. Open the door.
Now's going forward, Captain. Captain Navigator, 2 minutes. Roger, Nav. Loadmaster, Captain, 2 minutes, action stations.
Roger, Captain. 2 minutes, action stations.
Ready, on.
Red on.
Green on.
Green on. 2, 3, 4.
By flying low level along carefully planned air routes, even such a large stream of aircraft is able to bring rapid and independent reinforcement to any area within NATO. Normally, of course, the whole operation would take place under cover of darkness. The parachute force can operate independently for 72 hours, after which it must either link up with the ground forces of the host nation or receive further resupplies. With these, it can operate independently for up to 7 days. For the Royal Air Force, their task is almost completed. For the Army, the deployment of the force is just about to begin. UK JATF. I came to find out exactly what that meant. Well, now I know.
RAF Lynham
force within the next 72 hours. The requirement is for 16 aircraft to be rolled in the full paratrooping roll to uplift approximately 950 paratroops. Also, there will be 17 aircraft in the medium stress platform roll to uplift 34 medium stress platforms, and a further 4 aircraft in the supply stress platform roll for 16 SSPs for resupply.
And at headquarters 16 Parachute Brigade at Aldershot.
Now, if that containment fails, Comland Zealand will withdraw to a defensive posture behind the obstacle belt. I'll now hand you over to the Brigadier for orders.
Para Brigade's mission is to destroy any enemy attempting to penetrate the barrier defensive position. Now, in essence, Comland Zealand's plan is to deploy 3 motorised brigade on the right, 2 Met Brigade on the left, with 16 Para Brigade in the centre.
Whilst these early briefings are being held to finalise the key details of the operation, such as take-off times, battle tactics, PRs, etc., there's a lot of skillful and speedy preparation to get underway. Vehicles carrying parachutes have already left for Lynham, and others for rigging come here to the heavy drop company at RAF Halavington.
Timings, ALMs and engineers to aircraft 1430, crews to aircraft 1630, radio check 1640, start number 3 at 1645, and then at 2-minute intervals, taxi 1653, and brakes off approximately 1710. PR, as I've mentioned already, is 2000.
minutes, Strato Q, base 3500 feet. Captain Loadmaster, 20 minutes to go. Prepare for action. Roger, Captain. Prepare for action.
20 minutes to the DZ, prepare for action. 20 minutes to the DZ, prepare for action.
All sticks, stand up, fit equipment.
Captain Engineer, redropping checks side door. Roger. Redropping check. Altimeters. Captain, set DZ QNH. We've got 750 feet. Okay, pilot checks. And navigator checks.
All stick, check equipment.
Be 5 miles to go, and 200 yards left. Roger. Here's at elevation 550, drop height, Captain, 1750 feet, 1750 check. And your carb is 500 early, 150 right. Roger, Co, you're clear to open the door now. Roger, Captain. Open the door. Now's going forward, Captain. Captain Navigator, 2 minutes. Roger, Nav. Loadmaster, Captain, 2 minutes, action stations. Roger, Captain, 2 minutes, action stations. Steady, on. Red on. Green on. Green on. 2, 3, 4.
By flying low level along carefully planned air routes, even such a large stream of aircraft is able to bring rapid and independent reinforcement to any area within NATO. Normally, of course, the whole operation would take place under cover of darkness. The parachute force can operate independently for 72 hours, after which it must either link up with the ground forces of the host nation or receive further resupplies. With these, it can operate independently for up to 7 days. For the Royal Air Force, their task is almost completed. For the Army, the deployment of the force is just about to begin.
UK JATF.
I came to find out exactly what that meant. Well, now I know.